Here we go. Recording.
Okay.
There you go, John.
Welcome back to GB Talk Sports. I'm Jonathan Rizzo here with.
I'm Mr. Dutt in the basement.
Future Hall of Famer, Mr. Horton. What's happening? A lot of stuff going on, man. We got sound difficulties here, Johnny. Can I?
Is everybody saying stuff really delayed, or is it just messed up?
I think it might be delayed.
I can hear.
Oh, can you, Mr. Dutt? Can you hear?
I'm hearing like every fifth word.
Oh, no kidding. Maybe it's because I'm recording it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's because we had to kick Johnny off early, and that's
It broke it.
The Zoom gods are mad at us.
What if you dumped your screen share?
Yep, I just did that. How's that? Any better?
Yeah.
It's a little delayed between your voice and your mouth moving, but other than that, it's way better in terms of seeing things.
All right, so I dumped my screen share. So a couple things I wanted to talk about. Johnny just went away. His video went away.
Yeah, I don't know where he went, but that's okay.
Does it make me,
come back.
can you hear me if my video's gone?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
I'm wondering if it's just. Let me try something.
So hey, while you're trying
We're
something,
experiencing some technical difficulties.
you know what I wanted to talk about? Did you see the National Federation for High School Athletics put out their guidelines for the fall sports?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, they posted them yesterday. There was an article in the Democrat and Chronicle about it. What is the NF National Federation HS or something?
Right. I know what you're talking about.
Yep. So they put out their guidelines yesterday. So without saying there's not going to be any sports with these guidelines, they just kind of said there's not going to be any sports without these guidelines.
Really? Wow.
Well, like for a game, like all athletes that are in a contact or sports such as football have to wear a mask.
Wow.
That lasts like 30 seconds.
Yeah, the National Federation released guidelines for its 51 member state high school associations. Wow. It'll be interesting to look at.
Well, one of the things that I found curious was the ball. Whatever sport you're playing, the ball can only be touched by one person on every play.
How do you play football?
You can't even play.
Well, exactly. That's what I say. Without saying there's not going to be any
football. You can't play basketball. You can't play soccer. I don't know why soccer's even a problem. It doesn't touch hands anyways.
Yeah.
Well, it's not supposed to.
So what they said was the sports that probably will be in the fall:
working better now.
Cross country, swimming, tennis. Sectional tennis plays in the fall, right?
Right.
Yeah. So those three were mentioned as
they're actually going to exist.
They're actually going to exist. Teams like soccer and football. Cheerleading was another one that because they handle each other or whatever they do.
Right. That's actually very interesting because I just received an email from a colleague asking about cross country, whether we were going to do it in the fall or not. And I said, we're planning on it. And he had heard from his athletic director that the sports that you just mentioned, golf, tennis, swimming, and cross country, were actually, because of budget cuts, being cut from their sports programs. And it's pretty funny because you just said those are the ones that you can actually do.
Yeah. So, in other words, what we're going to do is the sports we can actually do, we're going to cut all funding for those.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I thought it was funny because to me, those. What's that, Johnny? I couldn't hear you.
Basically, we're just not doing sports anymore, it sounds like.
Well, it does make it tricky. I mean, it really does because, what are we willing to, what's this money? It's like risk management, right? What
Yeah.
are we willing to risk to get the benefit from? I thought it was funny because it was to me, those are the 4 cheapest sports to run pretty much. Cross country doesn't require much of anything.
Cross
Tennis,
country.
you already have the facilities. I don't know, but
Don't you guys run through the woods in cross country?
yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just, I think this is how you refer to it, glorified track on grass.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just track on grass where they run around on the grass, but it's it'll be interesting to see if they limit though the sizes of some of the meets that we've gone to.
Well, you know what I think about is those videos I saw of the starts where everybody's like on top of each other.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
And the best part is those aren't even the big ones.
Yeah. So, I mean, you might have to limit that, or, I was thinking, maybe you and I were talking about this, Johnny, I'm not sure, but, do you run at different times? Do you start at different times? Do you, if we're all going to run
Have everybody run on the same course.
Right. So we'll come up and run Friday at 2. We'll be done by 3. So the next team runs at 3. The next team runs at 4. Next team runs at 5. And then we'll compare all our times. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Something
Really
interesting I saw too was any team sport, they recommended that the athletes quarantine themselves to just the athletes and the coaches for 3 weeks before they start.
Brings whole new meaning to
For
preseason.
student athletes, that's very reasonable.
Yeah, right. I mean, but what football, like, remember the Titans? Didn't they all get on the bus and go up to camp for like a couple weeks?
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to camp.
Going to camp, going to football
Going to camp. That's right.
But anyways, I just thought we'd mention that, talk about high
I
school.
actually just watched that.
Oh, did you remember the Titans? Great movie. It's one of my top 5 favorite sports movies of all time.
Yeah, yeah.
I know you were going to throw Rudy in there too, but
I would concur.
Yeah.
Okay, is that my internet connection's unstable or yours? Rudy's all right. Yeah.
All of the above. Everybody's is unstable, I think.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's Zoom, not the internet.
It might be Zoom.
Hmm.
But so let's talk.
Hey, well, here's a question. I mean,
Go ahead, Mr. Nutt.
well, I was just going to ask, could we go into Teams and make a group and record that easier than Zoom?
Maybe.
Let me try something. I don't know. You can keep going. I'm listening to you guys.
So I wanted to throw this out there. Good news is for Buffalo Sabres that they're going to resume hockey playoffs. Bad news is there's not a chance they're going to make it.
Right. Right.
The top 12. And
Weren't they letting almost everybody in, though?
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Johnny.
Yep,
yeah.
they take
Just
the top
about
12.
everybody gets in and the Sabres don't.
Yeah, the top 12 from each division. Or from what? From Eastern, Western?
From each conference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That still counts the Sabres out.
Now, I mean, somebody
And the Sabres weren't in that? They're that low?
made the point
Wouldn't that put them like bottom 7 in the league?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up too, Johnny, clarifying how bad they are. Yes. Now, somebody did mention that they're a little upset because Montreal is like a point or 2 ahead of the Sabres, and the Sabres had 3 games in hand or something crazy. But no, it's a reasonable start. It just lets you know. It's a reasonable way to do it. It just lets you know how bad the Sabres are.
Yeah.
Why don't they do it by points per game?
I don't know. They just go by standings.
Well, because the
decisions,
NBA is considered something as well, similar to that.
Right. And I heard them going, conference didn't matter. I heard them talking about top 16. They're going to sequester into Orlando, Disney's Wild World of Sports down there, and just play a tournament, 1 to 16, 2 to 15, and go.
Yeah.
Like throughout
thing on that is
conferences.
how is every single major sports league gonna all go down there? That just seems like problems waiting to happen. Because they all say they're using that down in Orlando. Every single one of them.
Well, but the Wide World of Sports is already set up for basketball perfectly. It's got 3 huge gymnasiums. It's where they host the nationals for AAU, right? Sometimes are down in
Yeah,
at Disney.
probably.
Yeah. So, and you got all those
But
resorts
the
they can stay
MLS
in.
said they're gonna play down there too. How can they both do it?
Okay, Johnny, here's a question. If it comes down between the MLS and the NBA, who gets to stay and who's going to go someplace else?
Drum roll, please.
Well, who can go someplace else? Where can the MLS go that has enough soccer facilities? The NBA could find someplace.
Europe.
Bundesliga.
Totally.
No, I'm just
Totally.
saying, if it comes down between the MLS and NBA, the NBA is going to win. MLS
for
will
sure.
say, good luck, go find someplace. But we didn't drive past it. We could have, Johnny. The Clarence Soccer Center has a bunch of fields up there.
Hey, you know what I feel bad about?
Because that's big enough.
I feel bad that we were going on our field trip. Mr. Dutt, you were in with us to go on that field trip to.
Yeah. That would have been
maybe,
fun.
Maybe another time. Johnny will bring you back from SBU over there to go on the field trip.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll
I'm
need an
starting to
extra
think you're going to be
chaperone.
bringing me back from my house.
Yeah. Really? You don't think there'll be live classes?
I don't know. I'm about 50-50 currently.
It really is interesting to think about. I mean, I think we already talked, and this has a sports impact too. The state of California, any state colleges in California are online for the first semester. It's already been decided. So what does that do to some of those like Fresno State, San Diego State? Those are Division I programs. What does it do to their football program, and how does that work with scholarships? How does that change everything? Or do they just say, football team, you're exempt, you get to be on?
Well, and just like
They're going to break free from the state and become private.
I found out today on another call that GVCS graduation is changing almost like by the day, how that's going to happen. That we started out with, broadcasting on the radio station and people would show up and they'd be outside on their tent and people would walk. And now I hear it's going to be, you guys are walking across the stage individually. It's going to be filmed and then put together in a film. So I think just like even with the large sports, things are changing every day.
Oh, sure. Well, and I read an article this morning that didn't give me a lot of hope that some of the states are actually changing numbers so that it looks better than it really is so that they can open.
So Johnny, question for you. You are next year. Let's reimagine that you're just entering your senior year. And you've been told that there are no sports at your school. And that you're going to be limited. You have to wear a mask. You have to be in one room all the time. You'll be limited in your contact inside the school building. There's no, cafeterias and bag lunch.
You know what I tell them?
Do you just say, time out?
I'm staying home.
Yeah, just
send me my work.
Send me my work at home. I'll be fine.
I don't feel safe coming to your school. Send me my work.
Yeah, and
what are they going to say?
I can picture a lot of people doing that.
I can picture you doing that.
I can guarantee there's going to be
yeah, I'm just kidding.
all around the country.
Yeah. Listen, I can, this is Mr. Horton from home. Yep, that's it. Well, I'll be fine. Just, we'll send it out. It's so many kids. We discount because we are a sports radio show, we discount, so many people discount the value of sports in education. That's why a lot of people go to school.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I get the sentiment that they're not essential, that they're extracurricular, but I would agree with you with a bunch of students that that's the reason they come. probably even
For sure.
you guys sitting there, I could tell you that there were times in my high school career that the only reason I went to school that day was because I had practice or I had a game the next day or something. Or that my dad was going to get really ticked off and punish me somehow. But, that was the motivation to go to school.
Oh, yeah. So who knows what that world will look like. Interesting. Did you guys, you probably didn't. I watched the golf match, Tiger and Manning versus Brady and Mickelson.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Oh, it was funny. Funny. They Tom Brady's a little salty.
I was watching Real Sports.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, you were watching soccer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Something doesn't compute in my brain. Sorry, Johnny. I'm confused.
Tom Brady's pretty salty.
Is he?
Yeah. He's a
little sharp-witted.
It's they had live mics on these guys, and they could hear the broadcasters in their ears, and everything they were saying to each other, you could hear. Brady makes I think it was on probably 12 maybe. Brady makes a 12-foot eagle putt, real nice putt. And so Tiger had probably like a 6-footer for a birdie on the same hole, but of course it's he doesn't have to putt it because they're going hole by hole. He wins the hole. So Mickelson walks up. Tiger's walking up to his ball, and Mickelson goes, "Hey Tiger, that's good. Go ahead and pick that up." If you're a golfer,
nice. You're loving that.
Tiger just kind of looked at him. It was funny, very funny.
That's good. Yeah, I don't know where I was that I didn't watch that, but I thought about it. I thought it would be pretty funny.
It was, but it got a little bit towards the end. It started just a downpour.
Oh,
just a complete downpour, and so it wasn't as much fun. But anyways,
did they have to do any editing or censoring?
They didn't seem to. They probably were on a delay.
Oh, gotcha.
They didn't have to when I was watching censor anything out.
There have been some interesting things said in soccer.
Are those guys mic'd up?
They're not mic'd up, but you can hear everything because the stadiums are empty.
True.
Oh.
Luckily for most Americans watching, it's not their language and they don't understand it. But if you look, do a little research, you can figure out what some of the things that are being said are, and they're not so nice.
So I'm asking for a friend here, Johnny. I don't know. When you're watching soccer, do you have your mom and your brother get on those horns and go, make that annoying noise just so it seems real?
No.
That's awesome.
Actually, what they've started doing is they've been playing recorded sounds from old games. And I don't know how they're doing it, but they're making it line up perfectly, and they're pressing buttons someplace so that when a ref makes a call, the fans boo, and it's crazy.
That's fantastic.
That's pretty funny.
It's kind of awesome, actually. It makes it seem more right, even though the players aren't doing it. And I read an article this morning. There's a team in Denmark, because the league in Denmark, which is not a big league at all, really, it's not popular. It's popular in Denmark, but besides that, they're not really competitive teams. They don't have a ton of money. And this team has set up Zoom screens, like 40-meter Zoom screens, huge Zoom screens. The fans the season ticket holders can be in there and yelling and cheering through Zoom, watching the game. And they even get to pick where on the screen they are. And there's one for each side of the stadium, one on the end for the away fans, one for the home fans, and one on each side for neutrals, like the stadium normally is. I don't know how it went. And the game might be on right now. I don't know. I know it's today. I wanted to see how that's going to go. It's going to be interesting.
I don't know what scares me more, the fact that they're doing that or the fact that they're doing that.
I read about it this morning.
No,
that's impressive.
I'm just picking on you.
I did see a Corona question. I got 2 Corona questions for you, though. Ready? COVID-19 questions.
Yeah.
The first question is, if you could eliminate any one sports team in exchange for the COVID-19 to be done away with, who would it be? And number 2, why did you pick the Patriots?
You knew I was thinking of Patriots. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Johnny wasn't thinking the Patriots though. Who were you?
You want to get rid of the Steelers until Mike Tomlin comes. it's gone.
Nope. Bayern Munich.
Ah, did they beat your boys the other day?
Maybe.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like it.
So, hey, something I wanted to say, Johnny, was is there any way to reach out to Philip and see if he can Zoom with us?
I could do that, yeah.
Yeah, next Thursday will probably be our last show. Isn't that the last week of school?
Next Thursday we can't.
What's next Thursday?
Johnny's final for calculus.
So you guys can, I can't.
Yeah, I could.
Okay, we'll skip the 4th, and then we'll make our last show on the no, not the 4th of June, the 3rd of June. Sorry, the 2nd of June. That's his final?
No, the 4th of June is the Thursday.
What is wrong with my calendar?
Are you in July?
Yep. May.
That's okay, because my calendar for May has 2 27ths on it.
Really? So the 11th, if we wanted to do a final show and get, we could, get some people, I'll see if we can line up a bunch of guests for our final show on the 11th.
That'd be fun.
All right. So we for sure, we got to get Mr. Huffman from his camper down there and wherever he's living.
Oh my goodness.
We got to get Mr. Huffman on there. Philippe would be a good one to get on. Actually, Mr.
Right.
Clancy wouldn't be bad either to get on.
No, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Ms. Ryan would be a good one to get on.
Sure. Get everybody on there.
Yeah.
Maybe Brock will
We're gonna
actually
reach
show
the
up. Riley.
maximum amount of people on the Zoom.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I don't know if it's really limited to amount of people.
I don't think it is.
No, we
It'll
get
just
a
be
ton on
interesting.
for.
It'll be like somebody talks and it switches and it switches and it switches and it switches. It'll be crazy.
It'd be fun.
Yeah. I have a tough time understanding sometimes when I'm hearing two people try to speak at the same time. It's one of the things I don't like about Zoom. And when the Duttweiler family gets on a Zoom meeting, it's terrible because everybody wants to
because
say
you don't
something.
hear people right away.
What is there
Right.
like? Is there like 53 participants in the Duttweiler?
Oh, it's terrible. Yes. Like every 2 weeks we do one on a Sunday. I missed this past Sunday, but because sometimes you have families together, so that's okay. But you have like 20 screens, people are up there, and then somebody says something and 4 people make a comment. So you have no idea who said what. And my poor mother's having a tough time seeing everybody. So we're trying to explain that to her, and it's rough.
Nah.
So then you see my mom pick up the phone in the background because somebody called her because it was easier.
That's funny.
Well,
we're almost, believe it or not, we're down to our time. We're almost down to time.
Well, we spoke, before we go, we did speak, Johnny and I spoke briefly before we were starting recording, I think, about a ruling in Connecticut that could affect high school athletics. It could really, I think it's going to have something to do is transgenders in athletic participation on the female side. I think you're not going to have too many arguments, transgenders who are transitioning to male, but I think you're going to hear arguments that when males want to transition to females. But I think it just got.
But that's not really
Well, and that's
fair.
what the argument was in Connecticut, that there were a few females who felt like they were denied championships, trophies, college opportunities because some males were transitioning or were identifying as female, maybe not even transitioning, just identifying as female. And so that Title IX is taking that up. I think it's just something to watch. I don't have much of an opinion on it yet, but I think it's just something to watch in the future as to see how it's going to go.
Supposedly a male participating in a female sport may have a physical advantage. Is that the deal?
That was the argument from the athletes, that there were 2 individuals who were born male and identified as female who were winning all of the sprint races in track and field.
Gotcha.
And so there was, Title IX was put in place to make sure that women had equal participation and equal opportunity. And some of these females thought that they were not getting that because of this situation. And the Office for Civil Rights of the Department of Education has agreed with them. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
Wow. And that's probably at a high school level as well as collegiate, probably.
Right. This was high school. So it'll be interesting to see.
It's specifically high school.
Right. It's specifically high school, and specifically high school in Connecticut. So will that expand to other leagues, other states, up into the college ranks? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
Well, it's federal. If it's everything I've seen, it's federal ruling, so it kind of has to, unless they're going to just go
Yeah.
against it.
Well, but you would have to have the states. I think it has to be challenged in your state, and then it can appeal to the feds. Maybe, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, but it only takes one person in each state, and that's not going to be overly difficult, I wouldn't think.
No. Especially who I saw was supporting the athletes, the group that was Alliance for Defending Freedom or something like that, which is pretty active in all across the country. But just thought I'd throw that out there. Just an interesting, we talk high school sports here, so just interesting development. See what happens.
It is. So I would like to, hopefully by the next time we get together, we're going to plan for the 11th, right? Is our next show?
Okay, sure.
We'll plan for the 11th, and hopefully we can, there'll be more guidance on high school sports for the fall.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting. And it is so interesting that you said the ones that we can do are the ones that I heard my colleague was saying they weren't going to do. So, but
Yeah.
the colleague is from a football school. So if you have budget cuts because of this whole mess, you're not cutting football. It's kind of like that NBA versus MLS,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I get I went to a football school. Did you go to a football school down in North Carolina, Money?
Yeah.
Was it a football school? Yeah. And it's a whole different world.
Friday Night Lights, man. People live for that stuff. And when you're a football player, it's very rare to see, it depends on how big the school, a football, basketball player, because the seasons overlap. Sometimes you get football track.
Right.
But football players at those big schools in high school, they train all year.
Yeah, and they do now. They might have a little bit when you were there.
Yeah.
Our coach encouraged us to do 3 sports.
Really?
He really wanted us to do football, wrestling, and track, because he just felt like wrestling would, beef up your strength and that kind of stuff. But I was like, I'm not going to wrestle and play basketball.
Come on, you want.
No, I wrestled for a long time, and I was glad to be rid of it. So
Listen, you grew up in a house with 6 brothers? You wrestled all the time.
constantly, yes. 8 brothers, but that's cool. Yeah, I did wrestle a lot.
Yeah,
We wrestled a lot.
Yeah.
I was used as a practice dummy for my brother who made it to the state finals in wrestling. He's like, "Hey, check this out." Oh, okay, that'll work. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny. But all right, Johnny, take us home. We'll see everybody back on the 11th.
All right, so I guess I got a quick final thought.
Oh,
If you want something that Tom Brady owns, he's selling his customized Cadillac Escalade for only $300,000. So if you
Who's
want
that?
a car that Tom Brady owns,
Oh, Tom Brady.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that was for sale, and
it's actually kind of weird looking. I don't really like the looks of it.
yeah, I don't see me doing that.
No, especially for $300,000. But somebody will probably buy it and toss it in a museum or drive it around and be like, "It's Tom Brady's car."
Why don't they just donate it to the Hall of Fame now?
Because he is a future Hall of Famer.
So
I guess a final thought that I'll have is all the hype that's going on about the Bills right now. I mean, really, they're either gonna be really good or they're gonna jinx them, and it's just gonna be a horrible. I think they're gonna be really good though.
I was talking about that, because they did something about fans, some kind of Twitter poll on fans, the greatest fans, and her favorite team is the Green Bay Packers, and then the Bills are second. And so those were the top 2. But she did say that the Bills, something about hashtags and Twitter, I don't understand all of it, but she says the Bills were the number 1 pro football team in 17 different states in terms of hashtags on Twitter users.
Wow. I'm surprised.
And no one sells hope like the Buffalo Bills.
People are looking for that dream.
Hold on.
Bills win a Super Bowl, they'll lose half of their fan base, though, just like the Cubs,
Exactly. It won't be nearly as much fun.
right?
It's like the Cubs and the Red Sox.
Yeah. Now they've won one. It's no fun.
Anybody can be a Cubs fan now.
Yeah. But any final thoughts, Mr. Duck?
No, I'm good. I'm spoken too much already.
Nice. All right, Johnny, take us home.
I just have to say on your comment about Tom Brady being a for sure future Hall of Famer, he still has time to bet on his own games and throw them.
Nice.
Always looking on the bright side, aren't you, Johnny?
That was
He's got a
fantastic.
couple years left in him, so
That's
it
fantastic.
only takes one game.
That's it.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I will
Yep.
say right now on this sports show, this is recorded and will be live on the air. I have not ever bet on any of my own sporting events. So it's not going to keep me out of the Hall of Fame.
And I will vote for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm contemplating voting for you for president. I'm just throwing that out there in November. Money Horton.
Yeah, that's it.
A write-in ballot.
But
Let's start the movement right now.
Okay.
hashtag,
like that.
hashtag Mo Money.
More money for president.
Thanks for
let's
tuning
start
into
for
GV Talk Sports.
You want to try that again?
Thanks for tuning into GV Talk Sports. Thanks to WRIQ for putting us on the air, I think. Thanks. I'm Jonathan Rizzo here with.
I'm Mr. Duff from the basement.
Future Hall of Famer, Mr. Horton.
Possible new president. Peace out.
Peace out, boys.